When it comes to 5e Dungeons & Dragons, WotC has pulled off something amazing. They have convinced the majority of their players to demand that the game be by the book, rules as written. You'll hear some 5e people come out and say, that's not the case. They want feats. They're optional. And they tell me that if they use optional rules, that's homebrewing. Nope. Optional rules are part of the core game. It's still an option. I get it. You don't have to use it. But by using it, you're not homebrewing. Homebrewing is you making something outside of what the game offers. So if you use optional rules, you're not homebrewing anything. And that's a fact. I just wanted to make that really clear because I know there's a lot of people in the hobby that seem to think that optional rules, if you use them, are somehow homebrewing. They're not. So, when people that know what they're talking about talk about homebrewing, we're not talking about optional rules in a gaming book whatsoever, because it has nothing to do with the discussion, because by using optional rules that the game is offering, you're not homebrewing at all. It's a different discussion. D&D demands, it requires that players be open to homebrewing. Why? Because no game is perfect. Every game is broken in some way, and the developers know that. The developers know that you'll be game testing for years, and you're going to find crap. So go ahead and fix it. At the very least, 5e developers have made those statements, but it's not something pushed into the minds of their players to be more open and accepting of. I'm an old school dungeon master. All old school players expected homebrewing. I mean, it was an expectation. They knew it was going to be part of what they were running into. A lot of old school players, if they ran into a DM running the game by the book, rules as written, they would look at them funny. Like, really? I'll even give it to it. I'm not a big 3rd edition fan. But at least those players still had the spirit of, hey, I'm into homebrewing, and I know that's how the Game Master gets the best out of the game. So I'll allow it. And if the Game Master sucks, because that's usually how you really judge the game, not really even the game. It's not 3rd edition, that's Tom's game. And if Tom sucks, the game's going to suck, right? If Tom's good, the game's going to be good. A good enough Game Master can take a game that you don't like Vampire, you think you don't like it, but if they run it for you, you will enjoy it. If they run it. Because it's less to do with the game and more to do with the talent, skill, and charisma of the person running it for you. Now, there are some sections of 5e where a small minority of people are doing really amazing, great stuff. But even they haven't all connected. I see some really creative potential 5e DMs coming up with ideas, homebrewing something because they're unhappy with the game as it is, and then nobody joins their game and they leave the hobby. And I've seen this happen more than once. With 5e, it's not even been here that long. And they got people walking away from the hobby that might have ran games for the next 20 or 30 years. Don't get it in your head because somebody walks away, oh, they would have failed anyway. That's not how life works. Sometimes, if people just decide to stay instead of walking away, they could be doing something for decades. But in that split moment, they walked away, so you won't get them for decades. And that's a reality. And I don't think 5e people really want to take the few really talented people that they're drawing into their part of the hobby and then just so casually run them away. But that is exactly what is happening. Bring back homebrewing. Let the Game Master do whatever they want, and if the game fails, if they're not really that good, walk away. Walk away. That's how you judge it. You'll walk away if they're not good, but you give the artist, the DM, whoever, the storyteller, a chance to sell you on what they have. Because if they're doing it by the book, you're going to kill their passion, and at one point they're going to walk away anyway. So if you are meeting talented people that are sticking to the book, well, you're probably not going to see them in the hobby for decades. That's it. And that is a huge difference between the old school and the new school. Old school gets not what they just call forever DMs, but a DM like me, a dedicated one. One that doesn't even feel like I'm a forever DM. I could go play, but most of the time I don't want to, because I love DMing. That's a dedicated DM. 5e has not produced a single dedicated DM. That's a bad result, and that has to change. Anyway, for now, take care.